Hey guys, it's the ex-church girl Sophia, your auntie here on YouTube. And if you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Today I want to talk about something very more serious, not too anxiety inducing or anything like that. I don't do anxiety inducing stuff. It's too much. But I want to talk about women and their children. Okay, first of all, we value our kids way more than anybody else does, right? And that's a true statement. Like, we can't get mad at nobody else about how they view our kids, because we view our kids as wonderful angels who have wings and who fly around being perfect little citizens. However, when you go to send your kids off to these schools, we're finding out that that's not the case. A lot of times these kids are mouthing off. I'm sorry about the noise in the background. I had the blower running in the bathroom. But yeah, our kids are mouthing off at these teachers, and they're telling the teachers what to do and how to do it and how to get there. Now, we know for a fact that kids will be kids, right? No matter what ages they are, young, old, middle age, whatever, the preteens, teenagers. We know that our kids have a mouth on them. We know sometimes that we think, you can't think that your child's a perfect child. Remember, you were a child once, and you were not a perfect child, right? So when these teachers start giving backlash to these students, and we respected authority. We knew that our uncles would beat our butts. We knew that our neighbors would tell on us. So that village that we don't have anymore was critical to kids acting right. Unfortunately, a lot of people now don't want you to tell them anything about their kids. And a lot of times, people with kids, I look at them, how they respond if somebody says something about their kids. Like, are they angry about it? Do they kind of get kind of, with their underwear in a bundle about somebody saying something about their child? So to be honest, I take a view at that before I criticize or critique somebody else's child. And for me, when I was growing up, I had uncles who said if you were next door, you were on the porch, like I told you, you're going to get a hit. You're going to get an ass whooping a butt whooping the next time you pull that stunt. I was 16 years old, and my uncle walked me off the porch next door to our porch, my grandmother's porch, because the street lights were on. He said, "You're not on this porch." And today I respect that. I respect authority, but it started at home. Respecting authority started at home because I was told by uncles if we didn't respect our mom, we would get it. And then our mom gave it to us whether we wanted it or not. We had shoes upside our heads. We had fists upside our heads. And to some extent, I think she did the best she could, what she had or what she thought she had to use. For me, I had to go the opposite direction when my son became 16, because he told me, "Mom, the whoopings are not going to help me anymore." And I looked at him, I'm like, at first I wanted to go upside his head about that. But then I thought about it. I said, okay, well, maybe spending more, what do we need to do? So I said, okay. And I looked at him and I said, I said, my son is sitting here telling me that this is not helping. So I started to think. I said, So I've been doing all this, burning out my energy, burning my blood, running my blood pressure up, and for what? So I started spending more time with him. And then I started, making his schedule my schedule. So after school activities, thankfully I had a job close to the house where they would allow me to go out on my lunch break and come back and pick him up and his friends up from school, because there was gang activities going on at that time. And different schools were fighting against different schools. So I had to do the things that were appropriate for him. And instead of criticizing him and saying, "Oh, I don't have to listen to you, you're my child, blah, 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 blah," I know I listened to him because what he said made sense. It made sense to me at that time, and I was glad I was able to hear it, because Most parents don't hear what their children are saying. When your child is acting out, that child needs more attention from you, not from their teachers, not from the ministers. And that's another thing. Stop sending your kids to these churches, because these churches have predators there too. Listen to your child. You as a parent, you as a mother, you as a father, you take time out with your child and you make time for them. You make their schedule your schedule. And you do what you have to do to protect your children. And a lot of kids are acting out because they just want to spend time with you. They just want that quality time with you. That's it. That's all they want. They don't want your all that money you spend on them. They don't want another new pair of Jordans. They don't want a pair of Jordans. They don't want ice cream. They don't want cookies. They don't want They don't want no restaurant food. They don't want any of that. All they want is quality time with you. And we as parents have got to hear our children. We've got to hear what they're asking for. When kids act out at school, that's a behavior that has not just started. That's a behavior. Anytime a student raises their hands to an adult, those boundaries have been broken a long time ago. They have no respect for authority, and those are the ones, and I am going to say it, those are the ones that end up in prison or dead at an early age. They're out of here because they have no respect for authority. They have no respect, and most of the time, they're not even respecting their parents. At that point, they're probably talking back to their parents. They're probably shaking their fists in their parents' face. My daughter came to me one time. She came at me. She raised up to me. And I'm telling you today, that was the first and last time she tried it. I set the boundary for her. I set the rules for my house. I said there will only be one queen in my home. And I stuck by that rule. And she didn't like it, and I didn't care that she didn't like it. It was just too bad. It was just too many tough cookies for her. The cookie crumbled right there, right then and there. And I told my son the same thing, because one time he defied my order to stay in that house. He defied my order. And I told him, I said, I don't want you. It was a pair of shoes he had. I told him to get rid of those shoes because I felt like those shoes were drawing bad energy to him. He listened to me. He got rid of those shoes. Kids will listen to you when they respect you. And parents, learn to listen to your kids. Respect is not given. It's earned. We as Black parents have got to stop trying to buy our way into parenthood. We have got to stop trying to give our kids everything that they don't deserve to get their love and respect. Respect is not bought. It's not purchased. It's earned. You will earn your respect as a parent when you lay down the law in your own house and you stick to that law. No matter what happens, no matter how you feel about it. Stop trying to be your kids' friends. We use this word friend with our kids so much because we want them to have their way. We want them to love us. We want them to like us. No, put down the law in your own house. Make your house a haven of respect and authority. So when they go to school and then you allow those teachers, hey, if my child acts up at school, you can pinch their ear. You can hit them upside their head. You have my full authority to do so. And stop acting like a spoiled brat yourself and be a parent. That's how you show real love to your kids. You don't show real love to your kids taking them to the mall, giving them everything they want out of life. They grow up to be nothings. They grow up to be people who don't respect anything. They grow up to be people who don't care, who don't give a darn or a flying fig about anything. That's what you get when you give your kids everything without a price. Teach them how to make up their bed. Teach them how to get up on time, get up on school on time, with or without you there in that house. Instead, we want to run through these malls. We want to make it a quick fix. It's not a quick fix to be a parent. It's not a quick fix to be an adult and adult your way into success. It's not a quick fix for anything like that. We want to push a microwave button and make it happen. Life is not like that, boo. Life is terrible out here in these streets. And if you don't sit down and make rules for your house, stop trying to run these jobs, going up to these jobs, kiss and tell with a flavored straw to get respect. And while our homes are falling apart, our homes are filthy, we're not in order. The word says to do things decent and in order. That's what the word says. But do we follow that? No. And that's why our kids are out of control, because the adults are out of control. We want to have our way. We want to look good. We want to smell good. We want to be all out here in these streets. And meanwhile, our kids are out here dying young because nobody's teaching them anything. Nobody's putting the demand on them to be kids and stay in their lane. The adults are doing too much of their own freak. Everything is just a freak fest. While the kids are running wild and they're paying the price with their lives. People, we've got to do better. We've got to get on code with this. We've got to do what we need to do to protect our kids. I don't have small kids at home. I have several grandchildren. And I tell you today, if one of them ever raised their voice to me or raised their fist to me, even playfully, I will slap their hands down. I will spank them like there's no tomorrow. Because authority and teaching starts in the home. I am part of that village. If their parents don't do it, I will raise my hand to do it. Because I want to see my kids live. I want to see my grandkids live. I did what I should have done as a parent. I was strict. I didn't let my kids walk all over me. I set boundaries with them. I set boundaries with them at home. Therefore, they had boundaries at school. I had my youngest son who was trying to get tough with one of the teachers up there. I told her, I said, I can say her name, Miss Gardner. She was a gem. I would give her presents, nice, expensive gifts, because this is not to brag, because I respected her. She earned my respect as a teacher. She came to me and said, Ms. Wells, look, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. This is your child is doing this. He's doing that. And I said, you handle that, Miss Gardner. I said, we're going to do this together. I'm a single mom. I don't have time to run into this school all the time. One time I went and sat in that class. I took time out of instead of sleeping in, I got up off my butt, took my shower, and went up there with my hair combed. I didn't have nothing on my head. I didn't have no bonnet on my head. I didn't even wear a headscarf. I went up there. I took my time. I went up there, probably threw on a cute wig, put on my makeup, and went up there looking like a responsible adult. And I handled my business. This is the problem with us parents. We don't handle our business. And then we expect our kids to grow up and be pillars of the community. That's crazy. That's crazy. While we on Instagram showing our asses, we on Instagram doing all kind of bizarre behaviors, while our kids are running rampant in these streets. While our kids are dying in these streets. While our kids are going to jail for beating up teachers. These parents, yes, I'm going to blame the parents. How dare you let your child put their hand on another adult? Because you were too weak at home to handle your business. This has pissed me off. I can't stand to see a disobedient child. I can't take it. It makes me sick to my stomach to see it. Because we as parents have got to do better. We have got to set the rules and the limits on our kids. If we don't, the streets will take them. If we don't, the cemeteries will take them. If we don't, the police will take them. Diamonds, listen to this lesson again. I know this was a harsh one to listen to, but it's reality. My mom had my uncles to anchor us as kids into adulthood. They were part of my village, and I appreciate it to this day. None of us went to jail because we had that village behind us. That village that would say, you try it if you want to. I will kick your butt up and down this block. I will kick you up and down this sidewalk. That's what a village does. They protect the kids from themselves. They protect the kids from the streets. That we need the village back again. People, handle your business. Because if you don't handle your business will handle you. Till the next video, diamonds.